Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at all of my titanium watches. Pretty sure these are all of my titanium watches. Actually, I do have a bonus one, but mainly looking at these 7 titanium watches on the table here. Price range. Actually, I just looked this up to research this video, and the price has gone up quite a bit on the Grand Seiko SBGA 211. It is now $6,900. When I bought mine, I think the MSRP was $5,400 or $5,800. I bought it used. I don't really remember, but let's go through the prices here and models. Grand Seiko SBGA 211, $6,900. Then we have the Tudor Pelagos FXD, $5,675. Then we have the Citizen ProMaster Fujitsubo, $1,025. Then we have the RZE Resolute. This is with the Arctic Gray dial. This is the previous version, but the current version of this watch is $745. Then we have, got it out of order. Well, I guess I won't redo my thumbnail, but I had them in order by price. Not sure how I messed that up. Then we have the SWC Trench Oxidized, $595. Then we have the Zelos Swordfish 40mm titanium, $429. And lastly, we have the Boulder Venture, $299. This is an older version. I don't think they offer this dial color anymore. But there you go, a spread of my titanium watches. Let's, there's too many watches really to have at one time, but I'll try to go through these each one by one. So we have a domed crystal. We have the snowflake dial. See if I can zoom in on it. Hopefully it's coming across your screen there. But very nice dial on the Grand Seiko Snowflake. If you have a Grand Seiko boutique or authorized dealer close to you, go check them out. They make very nice watches. They are expensive, as are all luxury watches, but Grand Seiko is definitely up there in the price range. Probably best to buy these on the secondary market. So no loom. We have the 9R65 spring drive movement, 72 hours power reserve. And check this out, the accuracy is plus minus 1 second per day. Let me show you that. We have a display case back. Let's see if I can show you. It's not really a balance wheel. Come on. Up here on the top, you can see these things are just spinning. There we go. So it's not going back and forth like your typical balance wheel. It's just spinning kind of freely there. It's got a magnetic braking system. So that's how you get the amazing accuracy on this. And you have the nice 72-hour power reserve. So you have a signed screw-down crown, 100-meter water resistance. Also forgot to point out we do have a date and a power reserve here. The second hand just smoothing very sweeping very smoothly. So I really do like the spring drive. I don't really ever plan on selling this watch, especially now that the price has gone up so much. I'll have a fear of missing out or a fear of selling it and not being able to rebuy it. We have a high intensity titanium. So this is neither grade 2 nor grade 5. It's I guess somewhere in between. It's a proprietary blend. So high intensity titanium, solid end links, solid links, pin and collar, milled clasp, no micro adjust, so that's a bummer about this watch. And it takes a while to get it sized to your wrist. Just keep in mind the clasp here is kind of offset. You want to keep this in the center of your wrist. So I think I finally got this one dialed in. We'll go over all the size specs at the end of the video here. Just rattle through them really quickly. All right, so now we have the Tudor Pelagos FXD, flat sapphire crystal, a matte ceramic bezel insert, full loom bezel insert, and then we have 12 indices and 3 hands with loom. So this watch has amazing loom. We'll get them all spread out at the end of the video here, but we have quite a few watches here with amazing loom. X1 Super Luminova. Movement is in-house MT5602, 70 hours power reserve, 8 beats per second. Cost, so -4 plus 6. You have a signed screw down crown. 200 meters water resistance. So this watch is a combination of grade 2 and grade 5. Everything that you can see from this angle here is grade 2, and then the case back is grade 5. Grade 5 is a tougher material. I'm not exactly sure why the case back is grade 5, but everything else that you can see here is grade 2. Titanium, 60 click. Yeah, 60 click ceramic bezel. I didn't write down notes for the bezels, as some of these don't have rotating bezels. So it comes with a single piece fabric strap and also a single piece rubber strap. I've been wearing it on actually my bonus watch. This is a titanium mod watch, but I have been wearing this watch on this strap here. I just switched over onto this one to see how this one would feel on the wrist, but these straps are amazing for the Tudor FXD and I mean other watches as well. But the nice thing about them on the FXD is you have these fixed lugs, so you're a little bit limited to the straps that you can use. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming here. Oh yeah, they do have titanium hardware on the straps as well. And we'll talk about the specs at the end here. This one is really light. This is Citizen ProMaster Fuji. I always mess it up. Fujisable. I messed it up again. So we have a interesting crystal. It's a flat crystal, but it's got to be domed on the underside because you get this weird distortion at these extreme angles. It's also chamfered on the edge there. The aluminum bezel is proud of the sapphire crystal. The aluminum bezel will scratch much easier than the crystal. But anyway, bezel action is not good on this watch. It's okay, but it just feels slippery. You can see very limited knurling, and then this is very smooth. It just kind of feels like your fingers are slipping, but I don't know. It's just a weird feeling. Whoa, you got it to click backwards there. That was weird. Huh. Anyway, it's an okay bezel action. I mean, well, it's still kind of expensive, but anyway, let's continue on here. Matte blue dial, and then we do have, again, this blue aluminum bezel insert. We have a date on the dial. FXD, of course, was no date. Lume on all 12 indices. Even the date window has lume next to it. All three hands, and then we just have the lume pip there. Super Luminova. Miyota 9051 movement, so it's Citizen. It's an in-house movement. 42 hours power reserve, 8 beats per second, -10 +20. We have a signed screw-down crown, 200 meters water resistance. So this has the Citizen Super, I believe it's Super Titanium. The hardness on it is 1,200 on the Vickers scale, which is common with some of these other watches as well. So should be quite scratch resistant. I might have a little bit here from the clasp on the bracelet, but other than that, really nowhere to speak of on this watch. Solid end links, solid links. We have a stamped clasp, stamped and milled. Actually, I think that might be all. It's probably all stamped in here as well, but you do see we do have a ratcheting clasp that push in. Yes, so it does push in. Sometimes they don't push in unless you pull the levers, and other ones you can just push them in. So nice on the fly there. Dual pusher. This is stamped, and then this is milled, and then you have the stamped safety clasp. Feels a little cheap, but it's a nice watch, I think, for the money. I bought it used. They had a special on eBay. I bought it for like $350, but it's normally a $1,025 watch. And then this uses pin and collar. Onto the RZE. As I mentioned, this is an older watch. They do have an updated version now. A different movement, no date dials, and then it also has a much nicer clasp. It has a, looks to be a milled clasp. I couldn't really find much on their website, but it's the tool-less clasp. So nothing wrong with this one. Just everything now seems to have tool-less, which is nice. Similar to the ratcheting clasp on the Citizen. So RZE Resolute 745 flat sapphire crystal, as all watches should have. I much prefer flat sapphire. It's a fume gray dial, and then this one has a date. This has a Seiko NH35 but the current one has, I believe, a Miyota 90S5 or 9039. I'll leave links in the description to all these websites. So we have lume at 11 indices, and then all 3 hands, super luminova. Yes, so it is a 90S5. I wrote that on my notes. I got a little bit ahead of myself. So that would have 42 hours of power reserve, 8 beats per second. This is the Seiko, so just keep that in mind. Trying to report out on the updated version. Signed, screw down crown. And then it also has a hardened titanium case. They call it, it's not hex clad, that's the frying pans. It's called something hex, super hex, razor hex. I don't remember, but it's a hardened coating on this one as well. 1,200 on the Vickers scale, which is about 5 times stainless steel. Solid end links, solid links. Actually, this was only one female link, so we'll talk about more of that when we get into the specs. Yeah, so the new one will have tool-less micro adjustment. This one just has the 4 on the stamped clasp here. And then, believe it or not, these are screw pins. Very, well, it doesn't look small here, but by the naked eye, these are very small screw pins. So, most definitely would need a 1.2 millimeter screwdriver for this. Let's see here. Yeah, these those screws are tiny. I got the 1.25 millimeter screwdriver there. All right, let's get back on track. All right, that was it for this one. Let's move on to the next one. Sorry, I feel like I'm rushing, but got to get through these 7 watches here. SWC Trench Oxidize, $595. This colorway is sold out. Every dial is unique. It's meant to look like an aged dial, like your grandpa would have had, or great-grandpa, whatever. So a very cool looking watch. This has a box dome sapphire crystal. I would prefer a flat crystal, but I like the look of this. Everything fits. It actually has a domed dial as well. And I believe, yep, that second hand tip is bent down also. Hopefully you can see that there. And there is something else different about this watch from all the others as well. So C3 X1 Super Luminova with 20 layers applied to it. So the difference here is this is a hand winding watch with the Solita SW210. Second watch on the list here with a Swiss movement. 42 hours power reserve, 8 beats per second. Signed non-screw down crown. This is the only one without a screw down crown because of the hand winder. I did just wind it up, so probably can't wind it too much more, but it's a very cool watch. Check out how thin this thing is. 9.5 thin. The thinnest watch here by far. Just a cool watch. Really is. I know some people don't like the text on the watch. I don't mind it. Let's see here. This is also a watch with a hardened coating. This one they said 1,000 Vickers HV on the Vickers scale. Grade 2 titanium. The other watches really don't mention the grade of titanium. This is the only one that actually had it listed on the website. So you get a leather strap with the titanium hardware, and then you also get a fabric strap pretty similar to this, but it has, I think it has like a, one of them is a plastic, kind of like an end, not really end link, but one piece is plastic. The other one I think folds over a spring bar. So a little bit different there. These are quick release straps. This leather strap is awesome. I'm not much of a leather strap wearer, but this thing just feels great. And it looks great too. It totally fits the watch. So I like leaving it on here, even though it does make the watch heavier than a fabric strap does. Yeah, so let's go on to the next one. So I bought this watch a while ago. They are still selling versions of this watch, not with this dial, but I think I saw a green dial. I'll try to leave links to all these watches and websites to these watches on the description. So $429 for this one. Flat sapphire crystal, salmon dial, salmon sunburst dial with date down there at the 6 o'clock. And we have, this is going to have amazing lume too. C3, X1, and BGW9, so you get all of them. Seiko NH35, 40 hours power reserve, 6 beats per second. Signed, screw down crown, 200 meters of water resistance. No hardened coating on this one, just plain, I'm going to say it's grade 2 titanium. Solid end links, solid links. This does have a stamped clasp with the 6 micro, and I believe the latest offering also does have the stamped clasp. Nothing wrong with it, I would just prefer toolless micro just now. And that's it for this one. I do have a signed clasp as well. Sorry, I just kind of whiz through these here. Boulder Venture, $300. Flat sapphire crystal. I believe this colorway was called Jungle Green. You can see this does, maybe not going to come across here, but I do remember having some battle scars on this. Yeah, we got some. I wore this hiking and camp. I don't really camp, but that kind of stuff. And this has been taking some marks. Really haven't worn it in a while though. Oh yeah, another watch with a Seiko movement. Anyway, the loom, we have 12-3 looms, so all 12 indices. The hands are loomed. No bezel, of course. No rotating bezel, I should say. And it says it has Japan Super Loom. Not exactly sure what that means. Seiko NH38 movement, so a true no date movement. So, let's see, it should not have ghost date position. This is hand winding. Yep. I do like that pop of orange on the second hand, by the way. I have coordinated the strap with orange sometimes. I typically don't wear it on this strap. It took a while to break in, but nice thing about this one-piece fabric strap, I want to call it something else, but I might get in trouble for calling it, we'll say it looks like a NATO strap. And this has titanium hardware to match the titanium case. Alrighty, let's just talk about the weights. I'll go over all the specs too. You know what? Let's put them here side by side. We'll talk about the weights, and then we'll talk about all the dimensions. It's too many watches to get on the table at once. Get the bubble wrap off the side. This isn't going to work out too well. 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, got 7 watches. Let's just talk about the weights. I'll point to them. I'll go in order of price. So the Grand Seiko is 92 grams. The Tudor is 72 grams. Then the Citizen is 101. Then the RZE is 90. SWC is the super lightweight, 48 grams with a leather strap, and then 32 just the head only. And then we have the Zelos at 113, and then we have the Boulder at 60 grams on the strap, and then 46 without a strap. Let me reset here. All right, let's go over the weights one more time, since these are our titanium watches, and people want to see light watches in titanium. So 113 grams, 101 grams, 92 grams, 90 grams. Then, of course, the ones without the bracelets will be lighter. So then we have 83 on the strap, 72 without, 60 on the strap, 46 without. Then lastly, we have 48 grams and 32 without. So this watch is less than half the weight of these two watches and pretty close to being less than half the weight of this watch. So amazingly lightweight watches here. All right, let's talk about the overall dimensions, and then we'll get the loom shot in. This one will not be in for the loom shot. 52, 48, 40, 12.8, 20, tapering down to 18, 5.8 millimeter signed screw down crown. 51.6, 43, 12.8, and then 22 for the fixed lugs, 6.9 signed screw down crown. 54.1 tip to tip on this bracelet, so extremely long there. 48.8 lug to lug. It's a 40 millimeter diameter. I forgot to write that down. 12.4 thick, 20 width, tapering down to 18 with a teeny tiny 5.4 millimeter side screw down crown. RZE, we're looking at 46.6, 38 diameter. This one's 11.7 thick with the seiko movement. The Miota movement version may be thinner. 20 millimeter with nice taper. This is the only one with the tapering down to 16, 20 down to 16. And then we have a 7.5 side screw down crown, a larger crown. Looks a little bit out of place. I think a 7 will look better, just like a 7 will look better on the Citizen. So it's not off-putting, just something different. Camera does not like having stuff in the background. SWC 46, 38, 9. I said 9.2, but I guess it's actually 9. 20 millimeter width, 6.5 signed non-screw down crown. Zelos 50.5 tip to tip. Lug to lug is 46. 40 millimeter diameter, 12.3 thick, 20 millimeter tapering down to 18. Here's a nice light catcher bracelet, even though the full thing is brushed. And then we have a, I guess I didn't write down the size of the crown. I believe it's 6 or 6.9. Anyway, sorry about that. Lastly, we have the Boulder 44, 38, 12 millimeter thick, if you ignore the double thickness of the strap there, 20 millimeter lug width, and then we have a 6 millimeter signed screw down crown. Zelos crown is a signed screw down crown as well. All right, let's check out the loom. All right, so I did throw in 2 Seikos here. My lower left corner is my mod watch. I bought it used a while ago. Anyway, top left, Tudor. Continuing along the top row here, Tudor, RZE, Citizen, my SKX 009, and then my SKX, anyway, SKX mod, forgot the model number, Zelos, SWC, and then lastly we have Boulder. All right, let's shut off the light and see what we get here. A lot of loom, and I don't think you would be disappointed with any of these watches as far as the loom is concerned. I would say my SKX 009 has the worst loom, but really they're all good loom. And then I would say probably the Boulder would be the next. As far as the best loom, I don't know. This Arc does have a, it's not like it doesn't have a loom bezel or anything like that, but the loom is very nice on this one. Yeah, you know, maybe the Zelos as well. These last, what are these, 4 or 5 watches that I'm showing now that are not covered up, they'll have very nice loom. Anyway, that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time and thank you for watching.